Hi guys, so I had a lot of emails from you regarding that most of the students they are struggling with the IPFire and they're not getting the internet access. So I thought that I will make a short video and show you how to do it. So first of all, you need to understand the scenario. Uh, Let me see. So this is how your scenario looks like. Now the IP addresses might be different. I mean, Um, obviously, you have installed VMware and you may have different IP configurations. It's not about the IP configuration. It's just about understanding the concept. So this is your IPFire. It has two interfaces, green and red. First of all, you need to make sure in your VMware settings that your red interface is configured to VMnet 8 and it uses VMnet 8 and it will be on a NAT, whereas the green interface will be on VMnet 1, which is host only. Now, whatever IP addresses or network addresses that you have for your green interface, it depends on your VMware. So it might be a little bit different from what you see here. Your red interface will be getting internet access and the Windows client has to forward requests to IPFire and should be, I mean, for this machine, the gateway will be whatever IP you have given to the green interface. So I'm going to use .100, right? So this is first of all the network scenario. Now, I'm going to install IPFire, a new virtual machine. I have the ISO image of IPFire. So next, it's a Linux operating system. So I'm going to call it IPFire. Next, so leave it to default, whatever. Now here I have to add one more network adapter because by default it has only one. So I'm going to go to customize hardware. You can do this later as well, but I try to do it before. So this is my first adapter, right? What you need to do here is that just to keep note for yourself, I'm going to open so this is the first adapter and I'm going to click on advanced and I will generate the MAC address here. I'm going to copy it. So this is my adapter number 1. Its MAC address is this, and this will be my red interface, and it is connected to VMnet 8. Now, how do I know that it's connected to VMnet 8? I can tell you that. First of all, let's click OK for this one. Now, how do I know that it's connected to VMnet 8? Because you can see that the default settings of network adapter is NAT, and NAT is VMnet 8, okay? If you still don't know, I can click on custom. And if you see here, VMnet 8 is NAT, right? So first of all, your first adapter is on VMnet 8, which is what we wanted as per the scenario that I just showed you, right? So red interface, VMnet 8. I haven't selected or configured red interfaces, but this is my plan. Then I need to add another network adapter. So let's add the second adapter. And I'm going to call it adapter 2. So if you see when you add it, it by default goes to NAT, right? I click on first of all advanced, generate the MAC address of the second adapter, and something wrong with my system. It's a bit slow. Okay. So this MAC address will be on green. And like I said, it should be on VMnet 1 now. It's on NAT by default. So you can go to custom and you can click VMnet 1, which is host only network. All right. So then you can finish. And this is on VMnet 1 for me. All right. Now let's begin the installation process of IPFire. So let's go ahead and press enter. I think this is the basic stuff everybody probably know. Start installation and accept the license. Okay. Doesn't matter, delete all files. Okay. So it creates a virtual disk, so you don't need to worry about that it's going to delete all your files. Doesn't. Okay, that was quick. Let's move on. The installation or configuration, I would say. Hopefully I can make it work because using it for many years. It doesn't matter, but I'm just going to choose US Central time zone. Hostname, okay, IPFire. Local domain, you can leave it to default. You can call it NGIT, whatever you like. Okay, now this is the root username password. Like when you are, so there are two ways to access IPFire. One, by logging into the IPFire itself, where basically you have the root privileges, and then it has an administrative interface, which basically is the web interface of this, right? So all the policies, configurations, policies, filtering, you do it in the administrative interface that you can access through the green side of the network. And this one is the machine itself. So sometimes you have to troubleshoot, you need to come into the command line. Okay, so password. I don't like it. It doesn't even show that it's typing the password, but it is, okay? So now this is the second interface, which is the web interface I was talking about. So the username here is admin, as you can see it here. It's mentioned there in the first line. The password I'm going to configure. Okay, now there are three major settings: network configuration type, drivers and card assignment, and then address setting. Now, current configuration is green and red. So this is what we want for this particular lab. Just for the sake of, to show you. It has other configurations: red plus green plus orange, red plus green plus blue, red plus green plus orange plus blue, blah, blah, blah. You can read about it on the internet, but the second one probably is the DMZ. The third one probably is about the wireless. The fourth one is about the DMZ and the wireless. If you want to have 4 networks connected to 4 interfaces, then you need to have, of course. So right now we are going ahead with the first one, which is red and green. Then you have the drivers and card assignment. So now, first of all, I need to set my green card. So I'm going to go ahead and select green. Now there are 2 MAC addresses that it shows. This is the reason I copied these MAC addresses so that I know which adapter will be on green and which will be on. So I'm going to go ahead and first configure the green one, right? So this is ending with 4.3. So the second one is 4.3. So this will be my green interface. And then red. So obviously when you have added one card to the green, the other one left is for the red. And we are done. Now the third part, and this is probably the tricky part where you guys are struggling. So address settings. So first we want to configure the green interface, right? Now it says that what IP address you want to give it to the green. You cannot just randomly select and give an IP address to your green interface. You need to know that because it is connected to VMnet 1, right? So you need to know what network is this green interface using. How do you know this? This is the big question, right? It's very easy. You can go to your host operating system where you install the VMware. You just write ipconfig probably no. Let's see. Okay. With ipconfig, you can see all your interfaces and IP addresses and network ranges. So this is for my Wi-Fi, this is for VMnet 8, and this is for VMnet 1. Now this 192.168.44.1 is basically the IP address of my Windows machine through VMnet 1, which basically means that the network range or network address for this network is basically 192.168.44. So you might have different, okay? So just keep that in mind. So what I need to do is that to the green interface of my firewall, I need to give an IP address in this range, 192.168.44 dot. Again, it's VMnet 1, and my green interface is connected to VMnet 1. I'm just going to write it here, 192.168.44.0/24. So this is the network address, okay? This is not the IP I'm giving to the interface. Now, let me show you what IP I'm going to give to my green interface, 192.168.44.100. So this will be the IP address of my green interface of the firewall. All right, well, let's move on. You can also give whatever IP range you have, 192.168. Let's just say somebody has 10 dot something, so you will give 10.100. You can give 10.200, but it should be less than 255, of course. So I usually give the interface .100. It's easy for me to remember. Okay, green, done. No worries. I mean, it was pretty easy. Now let's go to the red one. Now red, you can give either static or dynamic. I don't want to go into the discussion of whether I should give static or dynamic. Usually firewalls, they're configured with static IPs, but we are working in a virtual environment, and I'm just going to choose DHCP here because my red interface just requires internet access. Okay, so my internal network doesn't get affected whether it's DHCP on the red or the static on the red. Okay, some people then they can go with the static also. But if you want to go with the static, then first of all, you need to know what range is being used on the, you have to go to your host operating system and check that the address range for VMnet 8 is, 192.168. For me, it is 163. So I have to assign, if I'm giving static, I have to assign it from this range, okay? But if I select DHCP here, for instance, what it does is that I don't need to worry about what will be the gateway and what will be the, so it will automatically, my red interface will get internet access, okay? So I will not do anything else. I just selected DHCP and I'm just going to click OK. I'm done with the red interface. I'm done with the setting. Now there is one small thing left, which is that whether you want to enable the DHCP server. So your firewall will start acting like a DHCP server for the green side, means if any machine gets connected to VMnet 1, they will start getting IP from your firewall and not from the VMware DHCP server, right? So for me, I will enable this, and I need to give the start IP range. So DHCP, when you configure the DHCP server, you have to give the range. Again, the range has to be in the 44 network. So 192.168.44. I will start with 101 because 100 I gave it to the firewall. Because I have only one virtual machine that I will connect, so I can give like 2 IPs, 3 IPs, 10 IPs, 50 IPs, whatever you like. So the start range is 44.101 and my end range will be 110. Okay, so only 10 machines. I mean, it can give IPs to 10 machines only. And like I said, we have only one, so we don't need to worry about that. So the primary DNS will be firewall itself. And to be on the safe side, I will give the secondary DNS as the Google DNS. So 8.8.8.8 is going to be my secondary DNS, which is a Google DNS server. Okay, just have a look at this configuration one more time. So basically, this is the DHCP settings of the firewall for the green side of your network. It means that any virtual machine that will connect to the green side will get an IP address from your firewall and not from any other DHCP server. All right, so we are done with it. Default lease time is 60 minutes. You don't need to change it. Maximum lease time 120 minutes. And the domain suffix is NJIT, which we selected before. Okay. Now the moment of truth. Let's see if it works. So first of all, I will check on the IPFire itself, whether IPFire has internet access. If yes, then I'll go ahead and check it from my Windows VM, which will be connected to the green side, and we'll see if we have internet access there or not. Okay, so this is the root access. And now, first of all, I want to check if I have internet access. So you can ping the Google DNS from your IPFire. It means that my IPFire is connected to the internet. That's a good thing. Now we want to check if I connect a virtual machine to the green side of the firewall, whether that machine will have internet access or no. And this is probably where most of the students are struggling. All right. The first thing, I'm going to use a Windows 7. It doesn't take much RAM. So, I'm going to use, you can use a Ubuntu VM. You can use a Windows 10 VM, whatever you like. So Windows 7, you go to the virtual machine settings, and you have to make sure that the network adapter here should not be NAT. It should be VMNet1, because VMNet1 is the virtual adapter to which the green side is connected, right? So I'm going to change it from NAT to custom, and I'm going to get connected to VMNet1. Okay. All right. Now let's play this virtual machine and let's see if I have internet access. And let's see what IP address this machine will get, because I gave the range 44.101 to 110. So this virtual machine, if it is getting an IP address between 44.101 to 110, basically means that my firewall is assigning these virtual machines the IP address. So they are not getting from anywhere else. They are getting from the firewall itself. And rest of the network setting, of course, they will be done automatically. The DHCP, the gateways. Okay. Okay. So right away, I can see here there is a problem. I don't have internet access. You can see it on the bottom, but that's not a problem. But first, I need to check what IP this machine is getting. So what I see is that it has got 44.128. That doesn't look good. And it's because it is getting from the virtual DHCP server and not from the firewall. Okay. All right, so this doesn't look good because the default gateway should be 44.100, which is the firewall IP. Here it should have an IP address. Now, I will tell you why it's happening. It's happening because now there is a race between two DHCP servers. One DHCP server is the firewall. Firewall is trying to give an IP. The second DHCP server is the VMNet adapter itself, which is trying to give an IP address, right? So that's why this is happening. Well, it's no big deal. We can try to fix it with a couple of ways. And if not, then I will have one last solution. So first of all, I'm going to try to do IP config /release. Okay. So I'm going to release the IP address for this interface and I'm going to renew it. Let's see what IP it gets now. Okay, so let's see what IP it got. So still it is getting IP address from the adapter and not the firewall. Okay, let's try to disable it again and enable it. Okay, still it's there. Now, let's try to do one last solution, and that is because in this way you will never get internet access. I mean, if I try to ping google.com, it's not getting because it's not going through the firewall, and host only network doesn't have internet access. So we have to push it to go through the firewall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the properties and I'm going to give a static IP, and let's see if it works. 192.168. Okay, let's just say this will go automatic. Now I have to change it. 192.168.44.101. 192.168.44.100. The primary DNS is 192.168. That's the firewall IP address 44.100. And the alternate DNS is 8.8.8. Okay, this should have been automatically, but like I said, there's a race between two DHCP servers, and that's why we are getting this issue. Okay, so now if you see, as soon as I gave it a static IP address with the settings, it should have internet access now, right? So you can see I got internet access, which means it's going through the green interface. Okay, because my gateway is 44.100, so means my traffic is being forwarded to the firewall. Now, one last check. Let's go to google.com. As you can see, it is working, right? So all your traffic is going through the firewall. Now I can access the web interface of the firewall, administrative interface. So 44.100 slash, sorry, colon 444 is the port on which the, okay, that's funny. The 444 or tetra 4? Just a minute. Let me try to ping 44.100. 192.168.44.100. So I am connected to the, just want to check there's no proxy settings here. Okay. So maybe it's HTTPS, I don't know. 192.168.44.100 444. Oh, sorry, my IP is wrong. Okay, great. So now I have, so there was a HTTPS, not HTTP. So I got the certificate prompt. I will accept the risk, and then I can go to the web interface of the firewall, right? So here you can see the internet setting is on 163. This is a DHCP IP that the internet site got, and this is my LAN interface, which is 44.100. So now you basically have the internet access. Your traffic is going through the firewall. All you need to do is to complete the rest of the tasks. Hope you, the problem that you're facing will be resolved. One more thing, I will repeat again. So just if you're not getting internet access, just try to run these two commands, ipconfig, because it might have the previous old IP addresses. So you will do release. Okay, and then the next command that you will do is renew. Okay, just in case if you still have internet access problem. Hope you have enjoyed the video. Have a good day.